I want you to think about the last time you sat down to play a game and felt completely, genuinely free. No checklist, no daily mission that expired in 4 hours, no battle pass that you'd already paid for and were now quietly stressed about completing before the season ended. No reminder that your friends had already unlocked 3 things you hadn't. No background anxiety that if you didn't log in today, you'd fall behind in a way that would take weeks to recover from. Just a game, and you, and an evening with nowhere else to be. Can you remember that feeling? Because a lot of us can, and a lot of us have quietly noticed that it's gotten harder and harder to find. Today, I want to talk about the moment the industry changed. The moment gaming stopped being a hobby and started feeling like an obligation. And I want to ask, honestly, whether we let it happen or whether it was done to us. Cast your mind back. Doesn't matter which era. Pick the one that feels like home to you. For a lot of us, it's the late 80s or 90s. You bought a game. You owned it completely. Every secret, every level, every piece of content was already on that cartridge or that disc, waiting for you. Nobody could take it away. Nobody could lock parts of it behind a subscription. Nobody was going to send you a notification at 9 p.m. telling you that your daily reward was about to expire. You played when you wanted to play. You stopped when you wanted to stop. And crucially, when you put the controller down, the game waited for you, patiently, without judgment, without making you feel like you'd fallen behind. There was no concept of keeping up. There was just the game and your relationship with it, and nobody else had any say in how that relationship worked. Think about how radical that sounds now. Think about how much has changed, not over centuries, but over roughly 20 years. That a simple description of how games used to work sounds almost utopian by comparison. We didn't know we were living in the golden age of player freedom. We thought that was just how games worked. We had no idea what was coming. The shift didn't happen all at once. That's what made it so easy to miss. First, it was online multiplayer, and that was genuinely exciting. The idea that you could play with or against real people, anywhere in the world at any time. Nobody could argue with that. It was a genuine leap forward. Then came the always online requirement. Then the downloadable content. Small at first, reasonable, a few extra levels for a few dollars. Then the season pass. Then the loot box. Then the battle pass. Then the live service model, where a game was never finished, never complete, always in a state of becoming, which sounds like a feature until you realize it means you are also never finished, never complete, always in a state of needing to do one more thing before you can feel okay about logging off. And somewhere in the middle of all that, the language changed too. Games started using the vocabulary of work, daily quests, weekly challenges, seasonal objectives, grind, progress, efficiency. Words that belong in an office, not in a hobby you chose because it was supposed to be the opposite of obligation. The most telling word of all, login, not play, not jump in. Login, like clocking in for a shift, like something expected of you that will be noted if it doesn't happen. I remember the first time I felt genuine guilt about not playing a game. Not disappointment, guilt. The same feeling I'd get if I'd missed a deadline at work. And I sat with that feeling for a moment and thought, something has gone very wrong here. This was never supposed to feel like this. The industry hadn't just changed its business model. It had rewired the emotional relationship between player and game. and most of us barely noticed it happening. Here's the part that's hardest to admit. We didn't just let this happen to us. A lot of us, myself included at various points, actively participated in it. We bought the battle passes. We set alarms to log in for the daily reward. We measured our worth in a game by numbers on a screen that the developers could reset or inflate whenever it suited them. Why? Because the systems are extraordinarily well designed. Not well designed to make you happy. Well designed to make you feel like you're making progress. There's a difference. Progress feels good in the short term, even when it leads nowhere meaningful. And the people building these systems understand human psychology in ways that are genuinely impressive and genuinely troubling. They know that a reward you almost earned is more compelling than a reward you easily received. They know that social comparison, seeing what your friends have unlocked, creates a specific kind of low-level anxiety that is very effectively soothed by spending a little more time or a little more money in the game. They know that sunk cost is one of the most powerful forces in human decision-making. Once you've invested 40 hours in a season, the idea of not completing it feels like waste, even if completing it brings you no actual joy. The game stopped being the product. Your time and attention became the product, and the game became the mechanism for extracting it. That's not an accident. That's a business model. I don't want to leave it there, though, because the story isn't entirely bleak. There is a quiet rebellion happening. It doesn't make headlines the way the big live service launches do, but it's real, and it's growing. Independent developers, often small teams, sometimes a single person, have been making games the old way. Games with a beginning, a middle, and an end. Games that respect your time. Games where all the content is already there, waiting for you, with no expiry date and no battle pass and no daily login bonus dangling in front of you like a carrot on a stick that keeps moving. And people are finding them, and playing them, and finishing them, and then putting the controller down and feeling satisfied. That specific, clean satisfaction of a complete thing, experienced fully, that asks nothing more of you. The big studios noticed. Some of them have started listening. Not all of them. Not consistently. But the conversation is happening, and players who grew up in an era before any of this existed are some of the loudest voices in it. Because we remember the comparison. We remember what it felt like before. We have a reference point that younger players simply don't have. That memory is valuable. Don't let anyone tell you it isn't. So let me ask you directly, do you remember the moment it changed for you? Not in the industry in general, but personally. The specific game, or the specific feature, or the specific moment where you looked at what you were doing and thought, this doesn't feel like fun anymore. This feels like work. Maybe it was the first time you felt obligated to log in. Maybe it was the moment you realized you'd spent more time managing a game than actually playing it. Maybe it was the first microtransaction that made you feel like the game was designed to take something from you rather than give you something. Or maybe, and I want to hear this too, maybe you never felt that way. Maybe live service gaming works for you, gives you something the old model didn't, keeps you connected to people you care about. That's a valid answer too. I want to hear all of it, because this is one of those conversations that our generation is uniquely positioned to have. We were there before, we're here now, and we have opinions, worth hearing? Drop them below. I'll be reading every single one, and I have a feeling this comment section is going to be something worth scrolling through. See you in the next one.